In Britain, a police helicopter call sign Sierra Yankee 99 is on a secret mission.
A police motorcyclist down here.
After dangerous criminals involved in an arms deal, trading deadly weapons worth a small fortune.
It's gone into the BP garage, Bramall Lane.
This is where the deal will take place. They have no idea that every move is being videotaped and that armed police are closing in on them.
Yeah, wrong, strike, hold vehicle.
I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see a little bit more in. I'll move off a bit.
Wrong to Silver, can we confirm are any of the occupants out of the vehicle in the garage, do we know?
The men are also wanted for kidnapping and murder.
Oh, bad taste, man.
But the police forensic teams want to find proof that they're dealing in arms as well.
No, we will film the vehicle searches for continuity on the video.
They've hit the jackpot. 2 handguns, a silencer, a rifle, and enough ammunition to start a war.
Yes,
Tonight, we follow South Yorkshire's Sky Cops.
Yeah, Gary, he's hiding in there, isn't he?
Okay.
As they call the shots.
Some of the serious organised criminals who are dealing in big money, it's such a big deal to them that it is worth the risk of carrying guns.
Sheffield Airport in the north of England, home to South Yorkshire's Sky Cops. As Yankee 99 returns from the firearms raid, the rest of the unit worries about the continuing rise in violent crime in Britain. It's 8 a.m. The Sky Cops are already in the thick of it and preparing for their next mission.
Control to Sierra Yankee 99. We've had a tracker activation from a lorry that's been stolen. It's currently activated in Rotherham.
Yeah, Roger, as soon as we're ready, we'll make our way across for you, over. If you could just keep us updated, obviously, if your cars do locate him, over.
News is coming in of a stolen vehicle. A 35-ton lorry taken from South Wales, 200 miles away. Unusually, it's been fitted with an electronic device which tracks its every move and is now telling police that it's in South Yorkshire and on Yankee 99's patch.
Not being somebody who's into lorries, somebody comes back to me and says it's such a vehicle. It doesn't really tell me a great deal, so we are looking literally at every single lorry that we come across. The only saving grace is that we knew it was a big one.
The vehicle's now moved off from Freemate site on North Road and travelling towards Doncaster on Fitzwilliam Road.
Oh, Fitzwilliam Road. Is that it there? Like a skip type lorry at the back. That's the blue cab. It looks it, doesn't it? Yeah, come 90 right. There you go. We're going to have to get around front, aren't we? Yeah.
The crew have no idea what kind of lorry they're looking for, apart from it's big.
Tango 403, Lima Hotel, November.
Only the licence plate will tell.
Oh,
You don't realise how many of these vehicles there are out there of a similar description. Recently we lifted to find an orange transit van, thinking there would only be 1 or 2 in the area. We spotted 18 before we actually got the right one.
That's the one. No, it's not. It's got a yellow cab. What about that one? Just turned. Was it a 35-tonner? Yeah, with a different trailer. My apologies. My apologies.
The problem is, every time the crew get a mark from the tracker, it's wrong. PC Walls believes he has the answer.
Yeah, Roger. Can we try and find out from the owner how quickly this system of his updates? Obviously, we could be maybe 10 or 15 minutes behind this, over. Within 10 minutes of the centre of Rotherham, you can be on any number of motorway networks or in another city. So you could be within Sheffield city centre.
Right, well, it's not on Fitzwilliam Road. It's not on Doncaster Road. Where else would it go from there?
You're always playing catch-up with these devices, but you very soon start to build a pattern. You can see the direction of travel forming.
I think it should be continuing up to 6:30. Do you think so, towards Doncaster? I do, yeah, A1.
From your own working knowledge of the area, you get ahead on the camera and start looking at vehicles of that similar description.
What's that one there? Just wait for him coming out of the trees. Right, that's a possible. There it is, coming out the top now.
If they don't find the truck soon, they'll have to give up. But salvation is on the horizon.
That's the one, isn't it? That's the one. Now that is not what I expected to see.
The biggest surprise for the Sky Cops is the scrap metal in the back of the lorry. When it was stolen, it was empty. It's now carrying a load worth £10,000.
It's pulling in.
The game's up, and the driver of the stolen juggernaut knows it. Rather than run for it, he's decided to call it a day.
HS99, we've got this vehicle located. He's just pulled up in a lay-by. Driver, or should I say passenger, has just got out. We are videoing of it.
And someone's getting out of the passenger side of the cab.
I think he was just trying to play it cool at first. When he did get out, he didn't seem to know what he'd needed or wanted to do at that point.
He's running.
XS99, the driver's just run off. He's hiding in the hedge of the bushes.
He's in the woods. Okay, but it's only a small one.
In fact, he's just coming out again now. He's on his mobile.
While the man phones a friend, PC Humphreys tries to figure out who was driving the truck.
With only one person getting out, you instantly think that that must be the driver, either for safety reasons getting out of the near side door, or trying to make it look as if he was the passenger. So we did a double check inside the cab, make sure there was nobody else, and just to prove on video that he was the sole occupant of that vehicle.
You're moving again, mate. Yeah.
XS99, this male is now walking on the A630 back towards Thriber.
The man is making more calls. It's possible a getaway car might be on the way.
He very quickly got his phone out and started contacting someone, so it's obviously in the back of your mind that you may end up with a vehicle arriving and collecting him, and therefore it's important that we got people there rather quickly to get him detained.
As he enters the wooded area, we'll lose him if he gets that far.
XS99, what's the location of officers, please?
An easy job is turning tricky. The suspected lorry thief now stands a good chance of getting away.
Can I make a suggestion that we just hang fire for the dog handler to arrive first then?
No, get in there.
No, that's a negative. If officers are close, he's still about 200 yards from that entrance. I'd rather get him in the open as opposed to allow him to go into woods and then have to use a dog over.
If we're not careful, he's going to be in a car. Come on.
Help is at hand. The crew can see a police car on the road ahead, just in time.
You'll see the lorry on the right-hand side parked up. Continue past the lorry, past the entrance to Thriber Res. There's a bus stop. The male is just approaching that bus stop. In fact, there's a response car with him now.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Amazingly, the suspected lorry thief treats the ground cops with disdain, continuing to chat on his mobile.
Get in here, son.
It is a tiring job. To do the job that we do, you really do have to be at the top of your ball game, and you've got to be at 100% of the time.
XS99, just to update, the male is now with officers, and I've also got a vehicle with the stolen lorry over. In view of that, we are going to resume. It is all on video over.
Back at base, more Sky Cops are coming on duty. At 32, PC Lucas is the unit's youngest crew member.
All the gear wear fly retardant, the socks, the wonderfully sexy thermal long johns, the tops wear underneath, and then we have basically the covered in pockets for keeping your emergency cards, making notes on your little knee boards, and plenty of pockets for pens as well, so we'll always need those.
PC Lucas knows what his next job will be. The Sky Cops are to mount an air guard over an armed gang who are accused of murdering a British police officer, PC Sharon Beshenivsky, a mother of two gunned down when she tried to prevent a robbery. Today, they are to face a judge in court.
It's about a 25 to 30 minute transit.
There was a prison transfer to take place for suspects in the Sharon Beshenivsky murder trial who were in Wakefield prison and were to be transported to Leeds Crown Court that day.
Okay, shows on departure, radio, video recording. Okay then, I've got the donkey walloper out there, 12 o'clock lifting. Roger.
Because of the nature of what they've been involved in and the potential for somebody to try and either attack or intervene on the convoy, then they want a top cover for them.
Yankee 99 to Bronze, we are in position, we are videoing the route for information.
All units, be prepared, prison van's coming out.
The Sky Cops will be above as the police convoy moves the 5 men from their prison to the court. 40 armed officers will also be involved.
Lovely. Video rolling. Yes, sir. Yeah, lovely.
We'll go and check junctions and road bridges, etc. ahead of the convoy, just to make sure that there doesn't seem to be any potential for problems ahead.
Have they told you to tell with these 5? Yeah, there's 4 in one van and 1 in other, and the one's turned and given Queen's evidence sort of thing, you know, he's grasped on others. He's a brave man, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, they're not nice people, so. Yeah.
She was a mother of a few children. It was her daughter's birthday, and she was very young in service. Today it seems to be more and more of a common feature that people are arming themselves with some kind of weapon. And unfortunately, firearms seems to be becoming a popular choice of today's criminal.
I don't know if you know the other girl that was shot but survived, Teresa Milburn. Yeah, she actually got shot as well, but it wasn't fatal, you know. She was lucky in that it hit a bone and bounced straight out the entry wound.
It's one of the things that you're aware of, that confrontation of any kind might occur in any job you're attending. A minor road traffic incident, you can end up dealing with a violent person.
That's the court building there, yeah.
As the convoy approaches, armed police outside the court make sure no one gets in the way.
Okay, I'll just check the blind side of this building, but the outriders have been passed anyway, so I'll go around the side of the cranes and knock it off.
You're representing the force. We wanted to make sure that as far as our side of the job was concerned, that it went perfectly. But with this job, there's always that thing in the back of your mind that what it relates to, the fact that it was a police officer that had been killed, and that the people in these vehicles that you're now offering protection to are people that are alleged to be responsible for doing that. It's always in the back of your mind, but you try and keep a professional perspective to things.
Package delivered. Absolutely. Bra. I think that's just us about done. We'll just get round the door side and just make sure they're safely tucked in. And
It's awful to hear that somebody who's just trying to do a job, help her community and help the community as a whole, unfortunately has to come across these individuals who are determined to get away at whatever cost that might be, even if it means taking somebody's life.
Yeah, the package are secure. The packages are secure. Stand down.
The Sky Cops are still under the eagle eyes of the gun squad.
We've gone through the standard operating procedures. And
This time it's the Sky Cops who are calling the shots, giving armed officers some helicopter lessons.
First thing, without being too personal, you're going to weigh a lot, you two, so I've had to fuel the aircraft appropriately. Because not only your body weight, your normal kit, and then you've got the body armour and the weapons as well. So we've been working with very specialised weapons officers with sniper rifles, basically to give them the best flying start, if you like, whether it's going after a criminal or sometimes they were telling me this morning they go after wild animals that have to be killed before they might cause any problems for the local farmers or population at large.
I'm just going to tighten him in a bit so he can't fall out. Right. I'm on forward, Roger, body down, goes down, under control.
There is a great deal of calm, but a great deal of urgency, so that no time is wasted in getting the correct assets deployed, but all in a very measured way.
Okay, ready. Clear out. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, clear out. Who's moving to the door? Who's at the door? Clear to out.
Go high. Hey, good stuff, mate.
Yeah, looks quite punchy, I think.
XS6S2 Sierra Yankee 99, you receive number.
But the training will have to wait.
Where's he going?
Motorbikes have been stolen and children have been seen riding them. A danger to themselves and to the people who live in this part of Britain.
Unfortunately, I have to report that there are other members of the public in the area that they're causing a danger to.
Catching kids on motorbikes is a nightmare for the police. Only the Sky Cops stand the chance of dealing with them safely, if they're lucky.
Well, this is where they're last seen.
Right, there's some bikes on the nose down there, look. Straight ahead.
Yep, straight down here.
We got a visual pickup with some kids with a motorbike. I must admit, I tend to assume they're stolen these days because the most frequent occurrence.
1-1 from 99.
They knew they were then being observed. They were doing their best to get away on the bike.
You're struggling to get the bike started at the moment. I don't know whether you want to make your way on the road round to this side. It may well try and evade you, but...
I found in the last couple of months, as soon as we've appeared across the top with the helicopter, one or two characters have just given up. They stopped the bike and even put their hands up. I think they've seen too many movies.
The kid on the bike doesn't believe in giving the Sky Cops any breaks.
You got this one to be Gary in the back garden.
He thinks he can lose the Sky Cops in a housing estate he knows like the back of his hand.
In the heat of the moment, they don't always think rationally. They will just run to places that they know. Quite often, the harder the run, the easier it is for us to find them.
1-1, if you take your next right and then your first left.
Once again, the Sky Cops know they can't get ground cops to chase the biker. If he falls off, he could be dead.
Quite a tricky situation if you're following on the ground, because what you don't want to do is endanger anybody else's life, or of course the suspect on the bike. But from the air, it's an ideal situation. We can back off, we can film the whole situation with very good evidence for later use if necessary.
At last, the cops have the brake they need. The boy on the bike has run out of gas. The tank is empty.
Take your next left and you'll be visual with him. He's in the middle of the road and he's struggling to start it.
Burns driver.
Yeah, there he is in front of you now.
He obviously has a plan.
Let's see what this character's got to say.
Home.
On this particular occasion, it was short and sweet because we followed him home, and the police car we were directing in arrived at the front gate just as this lad arrived home and father opened the door. So game, set and match.
But the game and the match isn't always so easy. The Sky Cops know how difficult and controversial going after kids on motorbikes is.
The mass media a little bit just for this over and over and over again.
Yeah, they'll all be out, mate.
Unless we confiscate these bikes, it's a waste of time, isn't it? Yeah.
But they don't see they're doing anything wrong, Doug.
I know, I can appreciate that, but they will carry on doing it unless we confiscate the bikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Surely we can do that, can't we?
We can, but what we need is education. We need these people educating. There needs to be more high profile. No.
I mean, they want to buy their kids a little mini bike, they'll do it.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is take that mini bike away from them.
This debate will continue. Meanwhile, the Sky Cops have other matters to attend to. A police car has crashed. A motorbike is involved.
Yeah, CRB are on scene requesting Sierra Yankee 99 police for some overhead protection.
The crash squad need Yankee 99's stills camera for evidence.
We got a request that had been an accident that was involving a police beat mobile. There's very little we could do as far as assisting with the actual incident itself, but from our point of view, we wanted to make sure that we could capture the evidence of the aftermath, if you like.
This is urgent. The roads will remain closed until 99 has got what the investigators need. This is not a job the crew of Yankee 99 welcome.
They will now hover above and take some close-up shots of the scene as it is at the moment. There's also some long shots showing the approaches from all the different angles.
Access Yankee 99, we're status 6 overhead.
Obviously, it's not nice to see any accident, but the police is quite a close-knit community. And just to see a police car rolled on its roof and smashed to pieces is not something you want to see every day, to be honest.
Yankee 99 from Tango Delta 2-1. Tango Delta 2-1, go ahead.
Can you take the usual overhead shots? Can you ensure, please, that the silver Clio
It is in shot, please. Good job this happened on a Sunday. This would have been better than any other day at week round here.
I've been showing one shot, bends on approach or how blind a particular junction might be, positioning of vehicles that become involved, final resting places, you can see where debris is, and this can be all on one particular picture. And as I say, a picture paints 1,000 words.
Yankee 99 to access and all officers on the ground, we've now completed. Thank you.
As the Sky Cops complete their task, there's news from the hospital. No deaths, no serious injuries.
It's always nice to find out at the end of it that, in the end, although the job has to pay the consequences financially, it's only a car that's got broken and not anybody else.
Access India to Sierra Yankee 99, Sierra Yankee 99 receiving over.
Firearms are back on the agenda. A man has been seen brandishing a machine gun on the streets of Doncaster. He and his two friends drove off in a car.
The full parade was launched, if you like, and 5 armed response vehicles with 2 armed officers in each headed off in the direction, and within minutes we had found this car, and it had been parked outside a public house.
Yeah, Gary's hiding in there, isn't he? Okay.
The gunman and his mates have been found drinking in a local pub. They're not putting up a fight, but there is a gun in the boot of the car.
Opened up the boot, and we could hear the conversation from the officers on the ground. And sure enough, there in the boot, there was a machine gun.
In Britain, possession of a firearm can get you 4 years in jail.
Very compliant, would open up the car, and they do have an imitation
The man in the blue T-shirt is the owner of the car and admits to having the weapon in the streets.
And I can remember seeing his face from the expanded screen in the cockpit right beside me. I could see very, very clearly he looked somewhat surprised, to say the least.
F9 from Zulu 2 Bronze.
But then very quickly informed us it was a plastic replica.
Would open up the car, and they do have an imitation G36 automatic rifle in the back of the car, complete with box.
I was as frustrated as the other members of the team to think that some, I'll choose my words carefully, some half-wit would decide to A, buy a full-scale plastic replica of a machine gun, and then B, wave it in the street, and C, start pointing it at people. Just absolutely defies logic.
They're coming across as being very compliant, stating that they weren't aware of the legislation.
We had 5 response cars, 10 armed officers, a £4 million plus helicopter. I just hope that character is given the bill.